Revelation 1066. From the 22nd of August 1939. Atheism. Divine intervention. The divine creator must rightfully address the extent of people's lack of concern in respect of spiritual matters, since the whole of life on earth is pointless and useless if the soul leaves its earthly shell in the same state as it had received it. And such a wasted life is an abomination before the Lord, for the Lord gave people this life for improving their soul and not for a thoughtless way of life and the chasing after earthly pleasures. Woe to those who do not recognize their task on earth. Countless obstacles will be placed into their path, so that they will run into them and be forced to investigate where all this is coming from. Such an obstacle is occasionally able to cause a complete change of thinking and to resolve the carelessness and indifference towards all spiritual matters. And therefore God's will always intervenes where spiritual ruin is foreseeable. If the human soul's downfall is looming, drastic experiences must weigh the mind down if the soul's fall into the abyss is to be prevented at the last minute. The distinctly visible continuous spiritual decline is the best evidence of this. Does anyone ever even associate the smallest event with God? Does anyone ever give honor to God and thank Him when daily life proceeds smoothly? Does the human being not experience new miracles around and above him every day? Do these constant experiences ever make him think of his Creator? And how often does God's grace guide a person through adversity and danger? And he accepts it as a matter of course when he should, in fact, praise and glorify God without end. Only a devout disposition recognizes the Lord's guidance in everything. Only a faithful child places all its trust in the divine Creator and Redeemer. Yet the human race barely knows faith. And it is so removed from spiritual experience that the God of love wants to help people in their spiritual adversity. And thus the day has come that the flood of divine love once again pours itself upon humanity, for faith in God, as ruler of heaven and earth, shall arise anew through signs of a miraculous nature. The spirit of a kind-hearted person will brightly and clearly recognize God's activity, and he will instruct and help his neighbor to learn to interpret the signs correctly as well. You humans will come into possession of spiritual values. Even so, you will look outwardly, and unless you make an effort to listen to the inner voice, all words will be in vain, and thus the signs must talk instead on behalf of God's wisdom and might. And you will experience many of those. They will all point to above, for you do not recognize human influence therein. Instead, they solely show the Lord's will and purpose. And this time is near, and thus the time of spiritual adversity can be over for everyone who pays attention to these signs and draws on it for the benefit his soul. Amen.